Up the pipe!
G'day guys, Nate here. It's a slow news day. It's a slow news day to end out day 2 of the trade period. Technically day 3 if you include free agency starting on Friday, October 3rd. It's a slow news day because Nick Daicos or multiple clubs apparently have approached Nick Daicos about a possible move, bombshell trade move and whatnot. Uh, I'm just going to read Cal Toomey's report on this. This is just a waste of my time, effort, and money. But I'll get this out of the way. Get this shit out of the way. Multiple clubs have reached out to Collingwood star Nick Daicos to see if he would be interested in a move away from the Magpies. Apparently, the scoop right there. You can tell it's a slow news day. Get in there and you make it about Collingwood. And this is it right here. Nick Daicos being approached by every single club and country in the world. You can tell as well, I've recorded straight away coming home from work. So here we are now. Cal Toomey has Bruce revealed the bombshell news on Gettable Trade Desk on Tuesday, saying clubs have contacted Nick Daicos directly to discuss the potential of a move. Here we go. Here's what he quoted. Over the past week, my understanding is multiple clubs have reached out both directly to Nick Daicos and to his management. Oh, man. It's October 7, by the way, not April 1st. To his management about any interest he would have about a move. He has not been driving this. Clubs have reached out, including directly to the player, to gauge any interest. Cal Toomey said Daicos' management have denied any approaches have been made to the 22-year-old superstar. Oh, they got that right at least. Cal Toomey added, it is highly unlikely Nick Daicos will consider a move in the short term, and that's fair enough. I do, by the way, this is unpopular, but I reckon Nick Daicos could be going to Tasmania in a few years' time. That's all I watch this space, but that's in the midterm. That's 3 or 4 years away, whenever they're coming in, whenever they've got the money to splash out for someone like Nick Daicos. If he's prepared to settle down his lifestyle in Tasmania, but that's for Tasmania. That's a watch this space again. But this approach to Nick Daicos has reflected the modern player movement landscape where no player is off limits. He is signed until the end of 2029, so I'm not saying Collingwood would in any way entertain this. I'm not saying that he's pushing for a trade. I'm not saying that he's going to be traded. So why is this being reported in the first place, mate? But to have clubs reach out to him and his management shows the world we are in now where nothing and nobody's off limits and the competition view that anything can be prized open. So why aren't we reporting this on every single player? Brownlow medalists like Patrick Cripps. I know Lachie Neale was linked to a move back to Fremantle a few years ago. When it's there, Petrarca off to Gold Coast, Zach Merritt to Hawthorn, TDK, well, that's free agency stuff. I get that sort of thing, but also Clayton Oliver to GWS and also to Collingwood. This is not 2020, okay? There's no salary dump. If I say that now and it happens, oh man, I'll be kissing ass forever. But it's not going to happen in 2025 for Collingwood. It happened 5 years ago. I think the media, people, pundits want Collingwood to be involved in a massive way somehow. Whether it's Zach Butters coming to Collingwood now or Nick Daicos going somewhere now, just trying to generate this clickbaity bullshit. And I am wasting my time, effort, and money reading this out. It's noteworthy that clubs are so ambitious now and brazen that even the best player in the competition with 4 years to run on his deal, a strong deal, is considered fair game and approachable in this way about whether a head can be turned now or into the future. Yeah, this is basically just, it's clickbait of the finest order. Cal Toomey, you're better than that. Gettable, it's a decent show. We'll give him that. But an article like this, come on now, it's a waste of time. It comes as some of the biggest names in the competition, including Zach Merritt, Charlie Curnow, Christian Petrarca, have all explored their trade options this offseason. So, because of that, we have to report that Nick Daicos is gettable. Report that Will Ashcroft is gettable. Harry Sheasel is gettable. Sam Darcy is gettable. Sean Darcy is gettable. Liam Reedy is gettable. And Carlton got him today. Malcolm Roses got him today. That's what you should be reporting on. Let's talk about the real news happening. And Justin Leppage has Zusamund a meeting to arrange a meeting with Clayton Oliver. Fuck my life. But Justin Leppage was on Gettable today. He was on Trade Radio yesterday. I think that was Gettable exactly. He's on Gettable today as well. Just discussing his moves for the week. And he's going to be up to Sydney meeting with Clayton Oliver before Clayton Oliver heads off to the US of A. So forget what I said yesterday in regards to Leppage possibly meeting Oliver. I said that wouldn't happen. That's too short of a time frame, but it could be happening. Again, just saying his quotes here. We're still doing our work in regards to Clayton Oliver. I'll find out this afternoon when that meeting is going ahead. I didn't see any official news or updates on an official meeting, but it looks like that meeting will go ahead unless he flies up to Sydney and then Clayton Oliver's fucked off to America and will nominate GWS. My take on that, and I'll say this now, the longer it drags out, if Clayton Oliver doesn't nominate GWS by the end of Wednesday or the end of Thursday or early Friday, then the better the chances of Clayton Oliver nominating Collingwood. If it gets to Friday night, end of the free agency period, and Clayton Oliver hasn't nominated anyone, and my check hasn't gone off to Melbourne through free agency, then I think a deal could be done involving Oliver, my check, and obviously picks being thrown in there as well, where we would have to offer up a few more picks to accommodate for Clayton Oliver and Melbourne there. Melbourne will still cover Clayton Oliver's salary there as well. Back to Lepage on Trade Radio, speaking about Oliver. He might be touring the Giants facilities potentially today. That was being today, that is. I'm not sure, but I'll find out when or what the next move is. At this point in time, I'm going to meet him unless he signs a contract by then or nominates them, but that's the plan. We've got an aging midfield that you guys keep telling us about consistently, and what I've been saying as well. We do need that second best midfielder. Clayton Oliver fits the bill. We want to slowly develop that part of the field. Fair enough, with Ed Allen, Ned Long, Bo McCreary, hitting in the midfield recently, hopefully more midfield minutes. Perryman, hopefully in the midfield next year. Josh Daicos in the midfield as well. You also see things like Bo McCreary going through there late in the year. So to see the excitement of options we could put through there, we do have some young talent coming through. So I guess it's providing the support around that as our veterans retire. We're still at the point of making sure that Clayton wants to choose us and we want to choose him. We should know that in the next day or two, but again, he might choose the Giants and we might be out of the race or vice versa. But the midfield is the first one we're looking at. I guess the end of our season finished quite simply with the clearance work and field position Brisbane put us on. We just found out in the important time of the year and we didn't have that. So it's the first area we'll look at. It's not the only area, but it's the hardest one to fill and do right. And in terms of prioritizing what we need to get in, we've got Jack Buller, key forward, but that's more key forward depth right there. Jacob Blight, possibly a delisted free agent or being selected in the rookie draft. Key defending depth alongside Darcy Moore, Billy Frampton, Jeremy Howe intercepting, Reef McInnes coming back from his injury, Joel Cochran developing in the VFL as well. But Justin Lepage did comment about prioritising certain needs and other players as well. So Collingwood won't be prioritising the pursuit of tall defenders in this year's Continental Ties AFL trade period. I can't believe I said that word for word. Collingwood has looked at the listed Richmond defender Jacob Blight. They're looking for someone for the medium to long-term plan for their ageing backline. We knew for the medium to long-term, it's a position of need, not so much next year, but medium to long-term. We've looked at Blight. We obviously looked at Silvani throughout the season, and he chose St Kilda. But we are comfortable with how our backline looks right now. Don't get me wrong. Guys like Jeremy Howe is hitting his mid-30s. Darcy Moore has ticked over 30. Billy Frampton close to ticking over 30 as well. So we need some backup there. Reef McInnes is coming off a knee injury, and he showed some really good signs in the start of the season, but you don't want to put too much pressure on him coming off that. A key position backup is one. It's not our absolute priority, but it's definitely one thing we're looking at. So it looks like it's midfielder first to support Nick Daicos and others for next year, and then we'll look at Jacob Blight and Buller as well. And also just talking on Zach Butters and Ben King, just free agencies next year. Obviously, there are all names on a board at this point in time. They have to have a desire to leave their club and then choose us. The big need for us are midfielders and key forwards, but I will get through this trade period first in regards to Zach Butters and Ben King. It's looking like it's free agency next year to get Zach Butters or Ben King or possibly both. That's a lot of money, a lot of cashola for Collingwood. The fork up there for Ben King and Zach Butters. We'd have to make a lot of moves in the next 12 months to accommodate those two. One of the two, I reckon, gets done next year. That's my early prediction for that. Ben King being a key forward. Speaking of key forwards, Dan McStay had shoulder surgery. But Dan McStay cannot catch a break with injuries at Collingwood. 3 seasons at Collingwood. Knees, now a shoulder, a lot of knees as well. Yeah, and also that finger as well, that very first injury in Gather Round 2023 returns. Does his knee in the prelim, does his knee in 2023-2024 preseason. Comes back 2024, halfway through it, didn't get injured, thankfully. 2025 does his knee at Anzac Day, and now he returns on King's birthday and then drops off form, and now he's got a shoulder injury. Yeah, everyone else should be fit and firing, fit to perform first day of preseason. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully Jack Buller is at Collingwood. Hopefully Jacob Blight's at Collingwood. And hopefully Clayton Oliver or someone of importance in the midfield is at Collingwood start of pre-season. So that's where we're at. Nick Daicos, slow news day, being linked to other clubs. Unbelievable. And Justin Lepage is going up to Sydney. So Most likely, day 3 recap will not involve any sort of quotes or interviews for Justin Lepage, so maybe a topic of discussion in my next video tomorrow. That's after 5 o'clock on a Wednesday being recorded. Everything's a watch this space. But in saying all that, I was going to finish this video here, but I've thought about Nick Daicos being approached by other clubs, and I've got a change of heart. I'm starting to notice or get the gauge of interest and possibilities and trade murmurs and whatnot on Nick Daicos. So you know what? I changed my mind. Let's talk about Nick Daicos being linked to other clubs and what the trade deal could be done for Nick Daicos coming to Collingwood. So here goes.
Fake! Up the point!